On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me a video on Major League Rugby. Hello everybody, welcome back to Front Row Think Tank for our third video now of, we're talking about the LA Giltinis. Giltinis? I don't know. I think it's a very silly idea to name your team after a drink. Why? And you're gonna, why not the LA Chardonnays? LAVB? LA Rivets? I don't know, there's a heap better ones you can do than that. LA Sparkling Wine. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to it. LA Guillotines. Alright. Well, so, this is going to be a very, very exciting year for Major League Rugby coming up. Because LA just came out of nowhere and is looking to dominate the season even before it's already begun. You know, I've heard they've got a great management team, and they've got the coach who I believe used to coach Gordon Rugby. So that's where he's got a few of these players from, and is looking to build a very, very strong team. So quickly before I talk about what this means for Major League Rugby, what LA is about to bring to this new season, and what it can achieve here in the wider prospects, let's have a look at the team, or some of the key players. So let's start off with, they've got centre Billy Meakes. Fantastic Rebels player, was knocking on the door for Wallabies in the 2020 season with the Super Rugby AU, and his form in Super Rugby 2020. Then we've got Charlie Abel, who is also a Rebels player, or former Rebels player. I believe he may have played one game for us, but us being Rebels fan, I believe he mostly was a development player, but, comes from a good, strong rugby family, and I'm sure he'll do some serious damage over there in America. Angus Cottrell was knocking on the door of Wallabies contention. I think he got called up in 2018 for the Wallabies tour of the Northern Hemisphere. Didn't get to play a game, but, fantastic player, known as a Western Force enforcer, and then just was brilliant for the Rebels, and obviously earned himself a call-up. Sadly, didn't get that cap that he was looking for. Then you got the Smith brothers, out of Queensland. One of them, again, played a game for the Rebels, so Rebels legend. Ruan and JP, fantastic scrummagers. They're, really going to turn the notch up of, just bringing that elitism to the game. I think they played all... and these guys have a lot of history in rugby and have had quite a bit of success. I believe they may have been... No, they wouldn't have been, because they started the Brumbies, I think, but they were a part of the team that beat the Lions in the 2013 Lions series down here in Australia. The only domestic Super Rugby team in Australia to do it. So, Then you've got Sunwolves Corey Thompson. Corey Thomas. Bit of Super Rugby experience, playing against some of the best in the world, at least in the Southern Hemisphere, and played in, I believe, either the top league or the division below in Japanese rugby. Now you've got Harrison J. Goddard. I think he played a few games for the Rebels, but was mostly in our NRC team, and played for Gordon this year, and won Gordon the Shoot Shield for 2020. Brilliant player, knocking on the door, didn't get his chance. So I think, him coming into this team, he'll get a chance to really show his talent. Then you've got Mahe Valianu, I hope I got that right, also a Gordon player, also a Rebels player. I believe he came from Harlequins down here. He might have started being a Sydney boy or from Tonga first, I'm not entirely sure, but, a very speedy hooker. He applied his trade at flanker as well, so very athletic, can work around the park, and I believe Squidge Rugby, described MLR as quite a very open brand of rugby. It should be very interesting to see him there. Now we've got some European experience. We've got Adam Ash from Glasgow, so I don't know much about him, but, he's played in a very professional environment. Dave Dennis. We've got the McNulty brothers, I hope I got that right, and one of them I believe has played for Irish Rugby Sevens team. So, you know, a lot of professional experience in this team, and that's just fantastic. Then we've got Nathan Den Hote. Hodet, I'm not entirely sure. Randwick's captain, he was a lock, and also played for the NRC for Brisbane City. So, again, experience, played against some, you know, in NRC you get to play against some of the older players, some of the best players in times gone by. So, you know, they've got a wealth of experience here for players who have just been, you know, rapping on the door of just excelling their career. And I think, you know, LA will help take them places, especially to the world stage. And probably franchise player DTH Vandermeer, I have no idea how they managed to sign him, but wowee. That's going to be an incredible player to have on your team, especially in a competition like Major League Rugby. You know, again, if we're just talking about Squidge, we've got these players who, you know, have played a very structured brand of rugby and will bring that to Major League Rugby, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this team goes. I mean, a competition that's been dominated by the Seattle Seawolves, and, you know, I think I had very high hopes when Toronto came in, you know, a Canadian team with the pathways. Most Canadian players would go play for them. They did fantastic in their first and second season. You know, and it's just up from here, really. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But I think the most interesting thing about this and what LA needs to capitalise on is keeping these players. If they can upset in their first year and win a title, that's going to upset a lot of teams in the MLR, who are then going to start bringing in players from overseas, trying to get back Canadian and American internationals to come back and play in this competition, so that they just don't have this one dominant side that has got all these international players. Of course, they also have some Americans and some Canadians in this team too, but what we're focusing on is the overseas brand of rugby they are bringing and the style of rugby their coach will be bringing. And, you know, it's like that scene in Avengers where, what's his face? I'm going to sound so stupid. The guy with the bloody stone in his head. Vision. That's it. Where he's like, creative, when Tony Stark first became, and yeah, I can do obscure references. If Squidge can do it, I can do it. You know, conflict incites challenge, incites conflict incites something. But having a team that, look, is most likely going to be a step above the rest. It's really going to be a challenge to some of those other teams to really step up their game, and I think will be fantastic for the league because other teams will not want to be left behind. They will want to have a competitive edge and will want to, you know, build their teams up as much as possible to compete with this newfound challenge. So this is going to be fantastic for American rugby. And, you know, let's think about this. If, you know, I think the World Club idea has been thrown around a bit. They could compete in it. This team could certainly beat the Sunwolves. Could beat this year's Super Rugby AU Western Force. Probably not next year's where they've got like Montoya and all that coming through. It could have beat, if they were to do it, could have beaten the Southern Kings, some South African sides like the Bulls, obviously not the Super Rugby unlocked ones, but the ones that were struggling a year or two back. And, you know, they could definitely beat Zebra. So this is fantastic news of a team that's coming in, and I think this is going to do wonders for Major League Rugby and American rugby as a whole. I think this is really what they've been looking for. And another idea that LA and probably some other Major League Rugby teams can, you know, take a leaf out of Panasonic Wildknights books, and the something Liners in the second Japanese division. Pair up with another team. Have a brother club. Have a father club. Whatever they call it. I know, like for male schools, you have sister schools and you have brother schools. I don't know what clubs call them. But yeah. So that when America starts to progress and starts to have better players, they have an easier avenue than having to freelance and find another club. They can just go to their brother club down in Melbourne or in Japan. Or, you know, players who, like Mahe, Harrison, Abel, all these players who are trying to get into Super Rugby teams or Northern Hemisphere teams that just can't seem to crack it, but can, you know, who are very good at the level below, can go to America. You know, the land of opportunity. Home of the free land of the stupid. I don't know. Not that I can talk. But, you know, I mean, take Mac Mason. Living under Bernard Foley's shadow for so long, is now being replaced by Will Harrison at the New South Wales Waratahs. Now he's moved to Austin, and I really hope he gets his time to shine and, you know, show everyone what he can do, because now he's going to be given game time. Now he's going to be given centre stage. Same with many of these players who have been sometimes considered second rate, sometimes considered not best in their team at their job, and then, you know, had to move clubs or, you know, just sit in the shadows basically and wait. I think this is going to be a fantastic opportunity, and I think that's another avenue that this club can go for, because bloody hell, there's a lot of Melbourne Rebel players in this squad, or former Melbourne Rebel players, so why isn't Melbourne and LA just combined? It doesn't need to make sense, but it would be very nice to see. Merry Christmas. I put this video out on Christmas, sacrificing a lot of views just for a little bit of joy into the lives of anyone who actually wants to watch it. But yeah, have a lovely Christmas. Stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.